The drama surrounding every NBA draft is built on one question. Who's the next big thing? In 2023, the answer was simple. Victor Wembanyama, the once-in-a-generation giant from France, stood head and shoulders above the rest. In 2025, everyone is already bracing for Cooper Flagg, a prospect so polished he's been called a future franchise changer since his teenage years. But sandwiched between those two classes was the 2024 NBA draft, a draft that many analysts quietly labeled as one of the weakest in over a decade. Weak because there was no clear-cut number one. Weak because no one was sure who the franchise player truly was. And weak because the whispers of another 2013 disaster began to circle. That was the year Anthony Bennett went first overall to Cleveland, only to be out of the league 3 years later. Yet if that draft taught us anything, it's that a shaky class can still produce greatness. Because tucked away in that 2013 lottery was Giannis Antetokounmpo, a young man who would go on to change the NBA forever. And in 2024, history might be repeating itself. Nobody is calling Zachary Reese, the top overall pick, a bust. But just like Giannis more than a decade ago, a late lottery pick is already turning heads. Only this time, the player wasn't an unknown international project. He was once viewed as the very best in his class, the crown jewel of his draft year. Yet on draft night, 10 different teams passed on him. 10 teams looked the other way. And now, only months into his rookie season, many of them are already regretting it. This is the story of Matas Buzelis, the 6'10 forward who may soon rewrite the entire narrative of the 2024 draft class. Matas didn't just stumble into basketball. The game runs in his veins. His father was a professional player in Lithuania's top league. His mother, once regarded as one of the brightest talents of her generation, suited up for the Lithuanian national youth team. His maternal grandfather played and coached. His paternal grandfather, Petras Buzelis, was the crown jewel of the family, 6-time champion with Žalgiris, a national team captain, and a legend in Lithuanian hoops. But Matas's path was different. Born and raised in Chicago after his family immigrated to the U.S. in the early 2000s, he carried both Lithuanian pride and American ambition. Yet in his earliest years, basketball wasn't even his first love. He was a gymnast, a swimmer. At just 12 years old, he was one of the best breaststroke swimmers in the entire state of Illinois. Gymnastics gave him balance and core strength. Swimming built his endurance and coordination, and while at the time, it seemed like he was wandering away from his family's basketball legacy, all of it was quietly preparing him for the athlete he would one day become. By high school, Buzelis had shifted fully to basketball, and it didn't take long for the sport to embrace him. At Brewster Academy in New Hampshire, a powerhouse program that produced stars like Donovan Mitchell, Matas sharpened his game alongside Terrence Clarke, the late high school phenom who was destined for the NBA before tragedy struck. Together, they were electric. As a junior, Buzelis captured Gatorade Player of the Year honors, averaging 11 points, 6 rebounds, and anchoring his team to a prep championship. His senior year, he leveled up 16 points a night on 54% shooting, 43% from deep, another Gatorade award, and a spot in every major high school showcase, the Hoop Summit, Jordan Brand Classic, McDonald's All-American Game. He even stole the show in the McDonald's dunk contest, upstaging Bronny James in front of a crowd that expected the night to belong to LeBron's son. By then, he was a 5-star recruit, ranked top 5 nationally by every major outlet. Kentucky, North Carolina, Florida State, Wake Forest, every blue blood wanted him. And yet, Buzelis shocked the basketball world. He turned them all down. Instead, he signed with the NBA's G League Ignite, a program meant to give prospects a direct professional path. $1 million on the table, NBA rules, NBA coaches, NBA competition. For Buzelis, it was the fast track to the league, but the program that was supposed to launch his career nearly destroyed it. In his lone Ignite season, Buzelis showed flashes, 16 points one night, 17 the next, highlight plays that hinted at his ceiling. But the Ignite team collapsed. They finished with the worst record in the G League, 2 wins, 34 losses, 32 straight defeats. And suddenly, executives stopped seeing Buzelis as a franchise savior. Scouts questioned his efficiency, his decision-making, even his fit at the NBA level. The Ignite experiment was deemed a failure, and just months later, the league shut the program down entirely. By draft night, Buzelis had gone from projected number 1 overall to a mid to late lottery gamble. When the first 10 picks came and went, he was still on the board. And then, with the 11th pick, the Chicago Bulls called his name. The hometown kid was coming home. The city embraced him instantly. Chicago hadn't had a homegrown star since Derrick Rose. They hadn't dared dream of a savior since the Jordan years. And now one of their own was ready to wear the jersey. Summer League was his first chance to make a statement. Against Golden State, he erupted for 28 points, including 4 three-pointers. He averaged 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals across 5 games. But the matchup fans really wanted never happened. Chicago versus Atlanta. Buzelis versus number 1 pick Zachary Reese. The duel he had publicly called for. Reese sat out. The hype faded. Still, Matas had proven enough to be seen as one of the steals of the draft. The Bulls, however, weren't quick to hand him the keys. For the first half of the season, he barely cracked the rotation. He came off the bench, stuck behind veterans, left to stew while Chicago stumbled. Fans demanded more minutes. Buzelis himself voiced frustration to the media, asking how he could improve without the chance to face the league's best. It took trades at the deadline. DeMar DeRozan gone. Zach LaVine gone for the door to finally open. And when it did, Matas stepped through it with force. As a starter, his numbers jumped to 13 points, 5 rebounds, nearly 2 assists, and elite defensive impact. Against the Lakers, he dropped 31 points on 12 of 18 shooting, drilling 5 threes in front of a stunned Crypto.com arena. Against Dallas, he nearly posted a triple-double, 28 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. This wasn't just empty production. It was winning basketball. Chicago closed the season strong, clawing into the play-in tournament, giving fans hope they hadn't felt in years. And the eye test? It told an even louder story. Buzelis looked like the future. His drives were smooth, ambidextrous finishes off either hand. His shot, once doubted, was now reliable. 36% from 3 as a rookie, 81% from the line. His mid-range game polished and fluid. His defense, versatile enough to switch onto guards, wings, or bigs, with instincts that turned blocks and steals into fast-break dunks. He wasn't just a scorer. He was a playmaker, a connector, a two-way threat. What stood out most wasn't his skill set, it was his mentality. The fearlessness to call out the number 1 pick. The competitive fire to attempt the impossible in the dunk contest, even at the risk of humiliation. The audacity to say out loud that he aspired to be the greatest of all time. That mindset, combined with his talent, is why Chicago believes they may have landed their next cornerstone at number 11. 10 teams passed on him. 10 executives played it safe. And already those decisions look like mistakes. Because if you redrafted the 2024 class today, Matas Buzelis might just go number 1. Chicago has been waiting for a savior, and in their 20-year-old hometown forward, they might have finally found him. But what do you think? Did 10 NBA teams blow it by letting Buzelis fall? Could he be the future superstar of the league? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more stories like this, and turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown.